Other top story today, a momentous occasion as it is 80 years ago on this day, 150,000+ Allied soldiers put their lives on the line to liberate France. The Normandy landings occurred at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Cogeco News spoke with West Ferris Legion Branch President Red Trowsdale on the significant anniversary, but first we spoke to a Manitoulin Islander, Roy Eaton, over messenger audio. His uncle, Private George Eaton of the Queen's Own Rifles, landed that day and survived the war. Roy has been touring 5 landing sites leading up to today's anniversary.
For the past 5 days, we've been visiting each of the beaches here and hearing stories of just the phenomenal courage and extraordinary feats of the people. It was said that history isn't something you teach, it's something you share. And we have 3 great historians with us who, when we go to these different areas, they tell us all these individual feats. They stand and, for example, I'll take one example, at a bridge that was overrun. We stand there and they show us how things went, how it was captured, and it just becomes alive. One of the most momentous things and really touching things was when we were in front of Canada House, which was the first house liberated, and at Juno Beach. One of the things they do is, before we took this tour, they asked us to talk about any relatives we had, and my uncle landed at that beach, and he told the story that I had given him, and it was just so emotional. After seeing also a clip, we saw a clip of the first 7 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, when they are blown apart as they try to come ashore. And we're standing there and it just becomes alive. History becomes alive.
You look at the numbers of men that went on shore was 156,000 men. If you look at population North Bay, 50,000. So that's 3 times the population in North Bay. Or if you look at Sudbury, which is up around 160,000, that's the entire population of Sudbury, all put on the boats the night or 2 nights beforehand and moved across that channel, and all off on the morning of the 6th.
Prior battles of the Second World War helped set this up. Can you explain?
Yeah, you have to look at each battle in itself was pivotal to the whole overall outcome, and that you couldn't get across the channel with all those men and everything else without all the supplies and the equipment behind them. And that, well, where did that all come from? That all came from the US, Canada, and it had to be moved by convoys over. And that, so the Battle of the Atlantic, in getting that completed and all them supplies moved over and in position ready to make that day happen, is another very pivotal, because without that logistics, they just couldn't have done it.
Perhaps this is most famously portrayed in Saving Private Ryan with Tom Hanks, a classic. Can you put yourself in the shoes of the men when the doors came down on the boats and they were faced with gunfire? What would be going through your mind?
I don't know, I'd have to draw back. I draw back to my young days as a signalman in the Army and that, but I can't fathom what would be going through. I can imagine what was going through their minds and that, am I going to get out of this alive? Am I going to be able to see my family? Am I going to get home? There would be many thoughts, but to say what actually was going through their minds and what their feelings were, that's difficult without being there.